We must have done something right. This room holds 450 people, and we have 550 people. So, if the waiters can't bring you your food, please understand. Good evening. On behalf of the World Jewish Congress and my co-chairs, David Rothschild and Charlotte Safra, I'm delighted to welcome you to our 6th annual Theodor Herzl Award dinner. I want to offer a special welcome to the ambassadors and other dignitaries from more than 20 countries around the world. I want to thank them very much for the great support of the Jewish people in their country, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The Theodor Herzl Award is our highest honor. Past recipients include Shimon Peres, Henry Kissinger, George Shultz, Vice President Joe Biden, Marion Elie Wiesel, and we are pleased to have Marion with us here tonight. Marion. All of these people have devoted their lives to Herzl's vision of a strong Israel and a safer world for Jews and for all people. This year's recipient is no less deserving for his many years of service to his country in the military and as Secretary of State, and how he devoted himself to help young people rise up from challenging circumstances to fulfill their potential. General Colin Powell. A man whose leadership, integrity, and commitment to fairness for all people inspires us today. General Powell has always been a strong supporter and a friend to the Jewish people. Last year, the World Jewish Congress added an important new category, the Teddy Kollek Award, for the advancement of Jewish culture. Our first recipient was one of America's most beloved actors, Kirk Douglas. It was especially meaningful that his son, Michael Douglas, joined us to accept the award, as he called it an early 100th birthday present for his father, who, by the way, next month will be exactly 101 years old. This year we honor another Hollywood legend, the late director George Stevens, whose outstanding work in film still has the capacity to move us. Today, we are very grateful to his son, George Stevens Jr., an enormously talented director in his own right, is here to accept the award on behalf of his father. The World Jewish Congress has dedicated this evening to say a very special thank you to all of you who support us and what you have done for the Jewish state and to Jews around the world. To each of you who have come here tonight, I want to accept my personal thanks for your support, your generosity and participation help this organization continuing what it does best, standing up for Israel and protecting the rights of Jews everywhere. I wish that in 2017 there was no longer a need for this, but sadly, the Jewish people still face many of the same threats that we have encountered in the past. This is not 1939, but the age-old hatred has never gone away, and anti-Semitism has mutated itself in the 21st century. It has disguised itself as anti-Israel. The same old disgusting slurs are now directed at the Jewish state. They come over the internet, in the media, on college campuses, and also in the United Nations, the organization dedicated to world peace. But the World Jewish Congress has also changed dramatically to fit the times. We're no longer a quiet organization with a famous name. We are now the most important, proactive, far-reaching Jewish organization in the world. Take a look at this video clip, and you'll get an idea of the diplomatic force behind the World Jewish Congress.
The most powerful people on earth have something in common. The Jewish communities from 100+ countries have something in common too. They all have relationships with one organization. An organization that alerted the world to the existence of the Holocaust, that helped liberate thousands from concentration camps, including the women of Ravensbrück, that led the fight for reparations, securing financial justice for hundreds of thousands of survivors, that helped lobby the United Nations and governments to establish the State of Israel, that helped free Jews from the Soviet Union and North Africa, that won the battle with Swiss banks and secured restitution for almost 500,000 deserving claimants, that received Pope Francis' statement that attacks on Israel's legitimacy is anti-Semitism, that is helping compel Google to remove neo-Nazi content and Amazon to stop selling anti-Semitic products. This uniquely effective global organization is the World Jewish Congress. Today, the WJC represents Jewish communities at the United Nations, the Human Rights Council, in parliaments, palaces, courtrooms, boardrooms, and government offices, in private meetings and public events, with politicians, religious, cultural, and business leaders, and the media. The WJC rigorously advocates for Israel, religious freedom, Holocaust remembrance, justice, and fights anti-Semitism, delegitimization, terrorism, hate crimes, and anything that stands in the way of the safety and freedom of the Jewish people. Every year, the WJC has more than 1,000 meetings around the globe to ensure our lives are forever better. The most powerful people in the world do have something in common: respect for the World Jewish Congress.
If I've accomplished anything in the past 10 years, it's been to re-energize the World Jewish Congress. We are the voice and the diplomatic arm of the world Jewry. I have personally traveled to over 40 countries in 4 years. I met world leaders with one message: protect your Jewish population. Do not side with those who would harm them. And when Jews live in freedom, everyone advances. All of us know terrorism plays a major role in our lives today, and this is especially true for the Jewish people. Accordingly, we have started a new security program that is now in its second year, using professional security teams who work with local communities and the police and other security services to protect Jewish schools, synagogues, and community centers. We will protect Jews everywhere. When I took over the World Jewish Congress, the average age of our members was well over 60. It was even older. Today, we are younger and more vital. As you can see through the re-energized Jewish Diplomatic Corps, there are over 200 exceptionally talented young people who will make sure the World Jewish Congress continues its work long in the future. We recruited young future Jewish leaders in dozens of countries around the world and trained them to lead their communities. Take a look at this clip, which will give you an idea who they are and what they do.
In a world fraught with challenges, one man had a vision to build an elite team, a new generation of Jewish leaders.
The Jewish people need a global diplomatic body of its own.
This is the Jewish Diplomatic Corps of the World Jewish Congress. Ronald S. Lauder's vision realized, and now they're making a difference, supporting Jewish communities around the world, advocating for Israel at the United Nations, fighting for humanity at the Human Rights Council, communicating via powerful media outlets, representing Jewish interests in diplomatic meetings, ensuring that Jews are safe, respected, and free for generations to come. To overcome a world of challenges, we're fortunate to have this great team working for us.
We are standing for Israel, and we are standing for human rights. We're fighting on the ground. We're fighting diplomatically at places like the UN.
UN Human Rights Council has condemned Israel more times than the rest of the world combined. How is this possible?
The World Jewish Congress is alarmed by the increase in hate speech, xenophobia and incitement to violence against minorities.
The JD Corps is a network of doers, a network of thinkers, and a network of friends.
What I really hope to accomplish is to leave the world a better place in some small way than I found it.
When you put those people together and they're motivated for the right reasons, they can actually make a difference, I think, politically and in different communities.
By working together alongside the Jewish communities and the Jewish leadership around the world, this is where we bring the future.
I think the best is still to come for the JDs.
There is truly no group of young Jewish leaders like the Jewish Diplomatic Corps of the World Jewish Congress.
With our next generation of leaders, the World Jewish Congress will overcome the challenges facing the Jewish people.
I am so proud of them. And we have a few here, would you please stand up and take the applause? Hope they're here. You're over there. Good. We've made extraordinary progress on vital fronts. We've established an outstanding counter BDS and delegitimization unit, and our social media reach is the highest in the Jewish world. The new UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, addressed our recent plenary assembly in New York last April. Amazingly, it was the first time a UN Secretary General ever spoke directly to a global Jewish audience. He told us in the clearest terms that he will stand at the forefront in the struggle against anti-Semitism and calling for Israel to be treated like any other member state. We will hold him to that commitment. We're also incredibly grateful to the new U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, who told us that the lies and bias against Israel must end, and end now. No matter what your politics, this woman is a breath of fresh air in a stale, old institution, excuse me for people from the UN. We are aware of the constant threats against Israel, from emboldening Iran that brags openly about Israel's destruction. What makes Iran even more dangerous is the indifference and silence of the rest of the world to this constant and outrageous behavior. We saw that the same silence, that indifference in 1936, when a group of Jewish leaders met in Switzerland to alert the world to a global threat coming out of Berlin. That was the start of the World Jewish Congress. But unlike 1936, when the warnings were ignored, we will not be ignored. We are not stepping back. We face these new challenges directly in Hungary, in Greece, in France, in the UK, in Austria, in Germany, in Belgium, and unfortunately so many other countries. And with your help, with your support, and with your caring, I know this, we will not fail. The mullahs of Iran will join the long list of haters, from the pharaohs to Hitler, who have disappeared, but the Jewish people have survived against all odds and will continue to survive, and this I'm sure. Finally, I want to say thank you all again for being part of this extraordinary organization. The World Jewish Congress is one united family of Jewish people. No matter your age, language, or religious affiliation, it's also a family. We may disagree from time to time with one another, too often, but we must always stand together, Jews and non-Jews, in mutual respect, to work towards a world that is safe and free. That is my mission, and that is the mission of World Jewish Congress. Thank you, and have a good evening.